Good morning, everyone. This is Barry Northern here live on the backside of Churchill Downs. We just concluded a very successful Kentucky Oaks Day yesterday. Of course, Oaks Day is always a breast cancer awareness day with the survivors parade and things like that. And also yesterday, Dwayne Lucas winning his fifth Kentucky Oaks with horse Secret Oath. Certainly a very popular win here at Churchill Downs to see Mr. Lucas at be 87 in September to win another Kentucky Oaks. So very successful Oaks Day, and now we're ready for Kentucky Derby number 148. As you can see on my button here, it's going to be my 43rd Kentucky Derby. That's what this is, and I have a little special memento, folks, I have to share. I like decidedly. 60 years ago today, my Uncle Joe, before he left to go to his 40th Kentucky Derby that day, he pinned this button on me. I sat there in front of the black and white television and watched Decidedly win, and I have a very good recollection of all the derbies from that point on. And that was Uncle Joe's 40th. He went on to go to 75 of them in a row. So that's what this means to me, folks. So very special day to be live here on the backside. So we're just going to wander around a little bit, see what's happening here this morning. Back by Mr. Lucas's barn and see what might be going on down there. Sure, still a little bit of a celebration going on, but here on the backside, folks, we're going to be walking by dormitories because so many people don't understand that people actually live back here as well, not just horses. We have humans back here as well. So dormitories up ahead of us. We have a chapel. So it's its own little village back here, folks. Got a church, restaurant, lodging, a learning center where we teach English, computer skills, provide a lot of resources for these folks. But very exciting morning. It's a little cool back here, but it's dry, and we are very happy about that. Actually, yesterday I think it went very well. We were expecting a lot more rain than we got, and of course when the rain did come, the Oaks was already over, so I'm sure the commute out of here for a lot of people yesterday might have been a little difficult with the rain coming down, but all in all, a very successful Oaks Day. When I looked up on that big board and they showed the horses loading in the gate for the Kentucky Oaks, and to see that packed grandstand just certainly made me feel good that we're back to normal again, and the Derby is what it's supposed to be, one of the greatest spectacles in all of sports in North America, so and in the world. So we're going to walk by a few of the barns here, folks. As you see ahead of me here, there's a steps leading up above the barns, so there are living accommodations above the barns here as well. Barn number 21 we're going by is Michelle Lovell's barn. And Michelle, I believe, had a horse run yesterday named Just Might. But Derby 148, folks, I'm looking so forward to it. Going to be a great race today. Tracked by then with the maintenance crew we have here, Jamie and his staff. I'm sure the track will be in very good shape by the time we get to the Derby around 7 o'clock this evening. Doesn't those guys too long to get that track feeling good at home. Yeah, make it right. Horses entered in today's race. Local fella looking to win his second Kentucky Derby. He has Cyberknife, Zozos, and Tawny Port. He has 3 chances in this year's Kentucky Derby. So folks, regardless of weather, it's cool out here this morning. These people do this every day. And regardless of weather conditions, you're going to exercise that horse and then feed it and then bathe it and then do laundry and then clean up after it. So now we see one jogging toward us here. A lot of times they'll jog them up and down on the pavement, and then they can look at them and see if the horse is moving okay, different things like that. It looks like Brad's up ahead of us watching his horse jog here. Brad has a lot of horses in that barn, folks. He has his hands on every one of them every day. He's always down feeling those legs, making sure they're nice and cool. So I think training ends again at 8 o'clock this morning, I believe is the case, with first race being 10:30 this morning. Training typically goes till 10 o'clock, but Oaks and Derby Day with the early post times, training concludes a little earlier than normal. You can see the steam rising off of that one there, folks, on a cool morning like this. But he looks like he's enjoying it. And here again, once again, is Brad's barn, and you'll see some names of Brad's Derby winner and Oaks winners up on the barn. Hoping to add another one today. Mandaloon, last year's winner. She Dares the Devil, 2021, or 2020 Oaks winner. She was impressive out there again yesterday, winning again. So she's a 5-year-old mare now, but boy, she looks as good as ever. So Brad's hoping, he's got spots to add a few more names up there, and he's hoping to add one today for Derby 148, 2022 Derby. That would look nice right beside Mandaloon there. So I love to see this barn win one here for the local folks. The local South Enders, we'd all like to see Brad win. Now you hear him, a little prayer over the track this morning. Chaplain Joseph. Morning. Going by Richard Rigney's barn right here, folks, on the left. Richard Rigney is a trainer who has, an owner who just has one trainer who trains all his horse. A young man named Philip Bauer does a great job training Mr. Rigney's horses. And you see these folks, it's amazing to me how clean they keep it with the number of horses and things back here every day. These people work very hard in keeping us. When I do tours back here, folks, that is a comment I get an awful lot. They can't believe how clean it is with the number of horses and everything that's back here. But that's how hard these people work back here, and they do a tremendous job. With 1,400 horses out here every day, not easy to keep it clean. Now, yesterday, I talked to some friends that were back here on the backside watching Derby yesterday, said it was very enjoyable, things all back to normal. I'm looking up ahead and I see a little tent up there. I think some of the barns had their own parties here on Derby Day. Well, I tell you what, why don't we walk up this way? We're going to be Todd Pletcher's barn up here. Of course, Todd has 3 horses in today's race. Mo Donegal, Charge It, and then Pioneer of Medina, looking to add to his impressive list of wins. So typically Todd's barn will have a little gaggle of sports writers around. Yeah, I see him being interviewed right now. So yeah, all the local reporters are around Todd here looking for a little sound bite. And I think we talked about this yesterday, but you see all the signs on his wall. Looks like he's got room for a couple more to go right up there. His filly Ness, she ran very well yesterday, running second to Lucas's Secret Oath. And well, Secret Oath was just a little better yesterday. Todd has Mo Donegal, who I am kind of pulling for a little bit today, but you can tell, folks, I'm all over the board. I got some I'm pulling for with my wallet. Yeah. And there's veterinarians on staff back here too, folks. Plenty of veterinarians back here, plenty of blacksmiths back here. It's a working farm, really, when we're back here. And so many people aren't aware that this really even goes on. Oh, look at this beautiful animal over here getting a bath. Beautiful animal. One of our ponies there getting his bath for the day. That's the barn of Rudolph Brissett, Rudy Brissett right there. That's what the RB on the side of the barn tells us. Yeah, these people got their tents set up for a little cookout out here. A lot of the barns with the Cajun influence, they'll have shrimp boils and crawfish boils and those types of things back here on Derby Day. So pretty cool spot to spend the Derby back here on the backside of Churchill Downs. It's a much more laid-back atmosphere track, but it sure is a lot of fun to be back here on Derby Day. So, Oh, somebody's already got the smoker going. Yeah. University of Louisville fan right there. See with that smoker. And we're up on the backside, folks. That's Longfield Avenue out along. So just got residential houses right across the street from the Longfield Avenue. You can ride up and down here and see horses out here grazing in the day. Pretty neat to do that. Now we're just speaking of Oaks Day yesterday. We're passing Larry Jones's barn right here. When you see the impressive list of 3 Kentucky Oaks winners from the barn of Larry Jones. Larry's known for having a pretty strong hand with the fillies a lot of times. Got a hot walker walking the beautiful gray. That's from the barn. That horse is from a local trainer, Paul McGee, right there. That's one of Paul's horses going by. I believe Paul had a winner yesterday as well, or maybe that was the day before. They're kind of all running together for me right now. Yeah. So hot walkers doing their thing every day, even though it is Derby Day, folks. Still, life is pretty much a normal day for these people, just concluding a little earlier to get ready for the early post time today. So post time for the first race is 10:30 today. And I haven't been up to the track yet. I did see a little bit earlier this morning. It still looked pretty sloppy out there. But we got a little wind. Once the training's over, they'll get out there and the maintenance crew will have that track probably in and turf course seemed to hold up very well yesterday with the rain for the first time on that turf course. So I'd say all in all, it's everybody with the turf course seems to be very happy with the new renovation of it. So with a lot of rain and everything yesterday, and it still held up, that's certainly a good sign for the future of that track. So now we're by the barn of Brian Lynch. Aussie, Mr. Lynch's horse, Classic Causeway, ran in yesterday's Kentucky Derby. That bale you see hanging up there, folks, just typically that's a mixture of Timothy and alfalfa. And I think Classic Causeway's up here in stall number 9, I believe. Probably resting after a mile and a quarter. Well, it doesn't look like he's in there. He might be out getting walked right now. That's probably all he would do today after a race yesterday. Just do a little walking. Get him going by us there. Yeah, there he is, stepping back in his stall after a grueling mile and a quarter race yesterday. So he deserves a little rest. He deserves a little rest today.
He's running today.
Oh, gosh, what am I thinking? Gosh, thank you all very much. I told you the days are all running together for me. Classic Causeway will be running later today. Let's get a look at him. I am sorry. All right. So, morning.
Morning, how's it going?
We're doing pretty well. How's your horse doing? All systems go?
Yeah, all systems go. We'll see what happens in about 12 hours.
I hear you. Imagine we expect him to be out on the front end, don't you think?
Would be rude not to.
Yeah.
As long as he breaks good, and he just,
Yep. In there.
I'll win a beauty contest, that's for sure.
That's right. Sure would. Pretty animal. So Classic Causeway looking to give Mr. Lynch his first Kentucky Derby.
Starter, first winner, and we'll go keep his percentage up.
There you go. 1 for 1 would be nice. And the barn can celebrate a little bit tonight.
So, where you going to drown our sorrows, or we're going to
All right. One or the other. All right. Well, that's the right attitude there. All right, we'll let them do their work and head on out of here. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
No, they're making me walk today. Yeah, no doubt. So Brian Lynch and his crew, always very accessible to us when we do tours back here, always very friendly with us and talking to our guests, which is always cool. I love it when our guests get back here and instead of hearing us spouting facts, they get to talk to these people that actually are hands-on with these horses every day. And most of the folks here on this backside are very receptive to us, letting our guests talk to them. So very kind to us back here on the backside. There you once again, folks, you see them all. Water all down on those legs. Want those legs nice and cool. And you see him standing in his bath. Look like he's enjoying that pretty well. Standing there nice and calm. All right, so now we just turned the corner, folks, and we can look straight ahead and see the famous Twin Spires. Been there since 1895. Just got goosebumps right there just mentioning that. So to look at that and look at that lit up over there right now, I'm thinking what it's going to be like later on this afternoon. And there's my friend David Carroll over there. Morning, David. Good morning. Yeah, he says my groups are getting smaller by the day. David is the assistant trainer for the barn of Mark Cassie.
Attention horsemen, any Derby horses that would like to train may so at this time.
All right.
Derby horses may train at this time. Thank you.
So just announced that if any Derby horses do want to go out, they can. A lot of times on a race day they wouldn't, but with such a late post time here, not running until 7 o'clock later on today, some of them might choose to come out and stretch their legs. And then over there on the left, folks, is barn 44. Mr. Lucas, that barn houses yesterday's Kentucky Oaks winner, Secret Oath. Let's walk over there and see yeah, this is pretty cool. Happy barn over here today. Very happy barn. And I think, like I said, very popular win for us to see Mr. Lucas get him another one. You hang Lucas there. And morning, everybody. Oops, Steve Hargrave. Morning, Dale. Congratulations. How are you? Yeah.
You guys doing okay?
Good morning. How are you? Doing very well. Oh man, we're gonna have to make room for another sign there, aren't we? We'll just add to that one on the right there. So 1982, and now win again in 2022. Good to see you, man. Happy Derby, happy Derby, happy Derby.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, you done for the day, huh?
No, I got
Nope.
a pony later.
Got a pony. Oh, you're ponying later?
Yeah. Monty needed help, so we're
Okay.
just gonna continue the
Okay.
keep going.
All right.
like everybody else.
Is Mr. Lucas at the barn this morning?
He was here, yes. I think we had 6 sets, and then he left a little bit ago, but he's coming back.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he'll be back.
Back.
Very, very popular win for sure.
Oh.
Very popular win. Secret Oath, she ran so well against the boys in the Arkansas Derby and just missed qualifying for the Kentucky Derby. But then yesterday she probably was where she needed to be, running against her own gender there, and she dominated a pretty good group of fillies out there yesterday. So I think there's some pretty special fillies that were in that group yesterday. So to come out on top, pretty impressive effort by Secret Oath. And of course, she's the daughter of the great Arrowgate. All right, folks, we'll walk over toward the track. I see the Outriders out. The Derby horses decide to come out this morning. Here, she rides a lot of Mr. Lucas's horses in the morning. Rides some. Helen Pitts, she rides for a few different people out here every morning. Always very friendly young lady. I talked to her father a few years ago. He used to bring her here as a young girl, and she'd get so excited when she got to pet one of the ponies. And he was telling me that story a couple of years ago as we were watching Danielle ride one of the Derby horses out on the racetrack. So her dad was getting pretty emotional telling that story. So here she is, a little girl coming to the track, and then years later she's riding the Derby horses out there on the racetrack. So she's living her dream, I think.
Someone asked what the horses do after the race.
What to the horse?
They go to Spires.
Oh, after they retire, you know, if they're through their racing careers through, the real good ones certainly would love to go off to the breeding shed. That's where a lot of the big money is made these days. Uh, you know, our latest Triple Crown winner, Justify, he breeds for a fee of $100,000. Live foal stands and nurses, so he's got a pretty lucrative career ahead of him. I'm looking forward to see Justify's babies start running. They should be they're 2 years old this year, his first crop. They'll be hitting the racetrack pretty soon. It's going to be interesting to see how they do. And I mentioned his fee's $100,000 to breed to now. If his oldest start racing and start winning, well, that fee will certainly climb from there. And with any luck, he'll have a breeding career around 20 years or so. So that's always the hope, to win these big races and then be able to retire them and send them to stud duty for a little while. So that's the hope, what they get to do after their careers. Otherwise, you know, many other our racehorses turn into stable ponies, and you know, they'll find other uses. Some go to hunter jumpers, different things like that. So, but obviously, when you buy a young horse, your hope is to have that horse win the big races and then go off to a stallion career. So I don't see any Derby horses out there just yet, but we'll get up to the edge of the track and see what we can see. And even just looking from this angle, it looks like that track's already dried out pretty well. So I think we could be fast by the first race in a couple hours. Good chance of that anyway, with a little bit of wind out here. So this has been press center all week. A lot of the TV and radio stations probably are not back here this morning, I don't think. It doesn't looks like a few are, but not as crowded as we normally see. But let's get up to the rail of the track and see if any of the Derby horses have made it out this morning. Each trainers have different ideas on that, whether they want to bring them to the track in the morning. Sometimes if our horse is feeling a little too fresh, they might want to get them out here and get the edge off of them a little bit. And of course, we can see the moisture in the track, folks, but with this wind and everything now, and them turning it over a couple of times after training's over, this track ought to be in perfect shape come 7 o'clock this evening for Kentucky Derby 148. Ought to be a great race. And looking across there, folks, the empty grandstand. Boy, it was sure nice to see a full grandstand over there yesterday for the Oaks. I can just tell you, just walking around over in there yesterday, the feel was, it was the feel of Derbies in past, I'm telling you. Crowd was festive, everybody having a good time. We got a break with the weather yesterday, so hopefully Derby 148 is every bit as good or better than Kentucky Oaks 148 yesterday. So I don't see a Derby horse out there yet. Don't see a single horse yet, so they'll probably be opening it up for anybody else here in just a minute, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure if the training's... Yeah.
Can you talk about horses liking a muddy track versus a dry track?
Well, yeah, some do. Certainly some horses like a sloppy track better. You just never know. Sometimes their breeding might suggest which ones handle it better than others. You know, I think back to Mind That Bird when he won in 2009. You know, he was kind of a little bitty horse, kind of light, and it just looked like he just kind of skipped over that track that day. I'm not sure he would have won the race on a dry track, but I think that track played in his favor that day for sure. So, okay, racetrack is closed for training. I don't think any Derby horses did come out, so that's going to give the maintenance crew a couple hours to get this ready for first race. So yeah, sloppy track, you never know. Me personally, I love to follow the breeding. I know a little bit more about grass breeding. As far as turf, the sloppy track, one name that I'd like to see, if I see the name Distorted Humor in a horse's pedigree, I can usually figure they're going to probably like the slop. Years ago, I went to the Travers and saw a horse named Runaway Groom winning a sloppy track that day. And from that point on, I followed his offspring on off tracks, and they always seem to do pretty well. So just like pretty much anything in horse racing, a lot of it comes down to the breeding of that particular horse. So, but I don't think we're going to have a sloppy track today, folks. I think we're going to be fast, and I think we'll probably be maybe a good turf track, or maybe firm. I'm not sure, a little yielding maybe. But our dirt track certainly should be fast by race day, race time at 7 o'clock this evening.
We have a question. Who's your Derby pick?
my Derby pick is Mo Donegal. I bet him a while back in the future bet. So I have him locked in at 37 to 1. He's probably going to be about 10 to 1 today, I would guess. So that's my pick for sure. But I'm also lately watching the training and things in the morning. I'm leaning a little bit towards his stablemate a little bit to Charge It. I've always been a fan of the stallion Tappet, and Tappett's produced Belmont winners and winners of many big races, but he's yet to produce a Derby winner. And Charge It is the son of Tappet. He was a little green in his last race, but hopefully he's grown up a little bit in the few weeks here under the tutelage of Todd Pletcher. I'm sure he has, and so those are the two that I'm kind of leaning towards today. And boy, I know some folks are pulling pretty hard for Charge It in some bets today and things. So, yep, Charge It and Mo Donegal. That's going to be my exacta box. So. We'll see, but folks, I think my last Derby winner was 2011, Animal Kingdom. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah,
You bet him with your heart or your head?
Animal Kingdom was with my head. That definitely was my head. I wasn't spending a lot of time on the backside at that time, so I didn't have the heart into it like I do these days. So I'll never forget, Animal Kingdom was a horse who had never run on a dirt track before. He had only run on synthetic surfaces and grass surfaces. But early in the week, he was going to do his final workout on this dirt track, and I remember being up on what would be the mansion today, up in the press box that day, and he had a workmate with him as they went around there. When they got to the 8th pole, Robbie Alvarado, I believe, was the jock on him. Robbie slapped him one time, and boy, he separated from that workmate. And I thought to myself, and my buddy I was with that day said, well, dirt's not going to be a problem for him. So I bet Animal Kingdom that day, and I can remember where I was down around the first turn over there when I heard the track announcements saying Animal Kingdom was roaring down the stretch, and I was pretty excited. So he paid about $45, I think, for a $2 bet or something that day. So it's easy to remember that one, but I haven't necessarily had a Derby winner since then. So y'all take those for what it's worth. But Mo Donegal and Charge It will definitely be a Todd Pletcher exacta for me this afternoon. We have the lights on at Churchill Downs now, folks. They'll be turned. I see people up in the mansion up above up there. I'm not sure what would be going on up there this morning. Probably just maybe cleaning up from yesterday's activities up there would be my guess. But looking over at those Spires, folks, oh man, on Derby 148, it's the older I get, so many friends and family members that love the Derby aren't with me anymore. It's hard not to get emotional because this has always meant so much to me and my family. So yeah, very emotional standing here looking over at the Twin Spires. So.
One of your earliest memories from the Derby?
Oh, well, my earliest would be this button right here. I can tell you that one. I like decidedly. That was 1962. So Uncle Joe pinned it on me that day. Next year, I remember, I was at Grandma's house because we'd go to my grandma's and all the adults would come to the Derby. Next year, 1963, Mother and Dad both came home happy because they both had their $2 on Shadow Gay, who paid, I think, $20.60 or something that day. The next year was Northern Dancer. My last name is Northern, so that was the first Derby winner I ever picked in 1964. So those first 3 years, you know, at 5, 6, and 7 years old, that really kick-started my love affair with horse racing in general, but the Kentucky Derby in particular. So
Is
just
there anything you haven't done on Derby Day that you might want to do?
maybe hit a great big superfecta. Maybe that would be nice. No, not really. I guess I would love one day maybe to make that walkover with the people. I think back to hear Mr. Lucas again when he talks about it. He says, well, you step out over there and you start walking around and you see the Twin Spires and all those people. And he says, you got this young horse that you've taken and gotten to the pinnacle. He said, it's hard not to get emotional. And so that would be something I would like to do one day, make the walkover with those people on Derby Day. I've done that on a regular day of racing, and that was very cool for me to do that. I just can't imagine what it would be walking over there and looking up at that full grandstand on Derby Day. So that's a bucket list item. Hopefully I might be able to do that one day.
What if we told you that you're going to get to do that today?
Well,
That we might have arranged
well,
for you to get to do that.
well, if that's the truth,
That's
boy,
the truth,
well,
Mary.
no,
Surprise.
well, all right. Well, thank you very much. I don't know how you pulled that off, but that is that's going to be fun to do.
That's
So
gonna happen today.
all right. So hopefully I can walk over near one of the Mo Donegal or charge it and walk over by those guys and. Well, that is pretty cool. Thank you. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, thank you. I am looking forward to 7 o'clock this evening. I guess that'll be about 6:30. Yeah, about 6:30.
Well, about 11.
Well, thank
10
you.
and a
all.
half, 11
Yeah, well,
hours.
I'll be glad to throw those shoes away if they get muddy. I don't care. I'll take that walk over because I used to spend a lot of time over there. That used to be a general admission area. And we were the first ones to see the horses as they made their walk over, and everybody screaming and yelling at them. I just can't imagine what that'll be like this afternoon. Well, thank you. Thank you all very much.
Check that
All right, that's about the only thing. Yeah, other than that, I can't think of anything else. I used to want to get up on the rooftops. I've kind of done that. So, yeah, well, that is pretty cool. Thank you all. I don't know how you manage that, but I certainly appreciate it. All right. Yeah. All right.
All right, Barry.
All right.
Anything else to say about the tours?
No, just
Derby Day in general?
some of the local folks, get guests in town, bring them over to Churchill Downs, let them come back and experience this on the backside through some of the tours the museum offers, because it really is a cool place, and I think it'll give you a little different appreciation of horse racing and honestly, like I said, what these people do on a daily basis back here. So I guess we'll be signing off now, folks. So look for me on the walkover today. Look for me. Look. All right.
They're telling you to go easy on the bourbon today.
Well, I will. I usually do. I usually do go easy on the bourbon. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Happy Derby 148. Thank you all.